Welcome grade 9. This is Fundamental of Programming Python, Term 1, Week 8. This week's overview will be variables PC 3.1 to 3.5. PC 3.1 will be about the description and demonstration of the use when it comes to legal and illegal variable names within Python programming following the correct naming convention. PC 3.2 declaring variables of different data types within a Python program and assign them values by using the assignment operator. PC 3.3 use the print function to display the value of variables declared and were assigned values in a Python program. PC 3.4 reassign values of created variables and display the latest variable values using the print function. And lastly, 3.5 implement variables of different data types including integer, floats, boolean and strings. So let's get straight to the learning outcome. Understand variables and how they can be used in a computer program. Starting off with 3.1, what is a variable? Variables are nothing but a named reserved memory location to store values. This means that when you create a variable, you reserve some space in the memory. Based on the data types of a variable, the interpreter allocates memory and decides what can be stored in the reserved memory. Therefore, assigning a different data type is possible, such as integers, decimals, or characters, as becoming one of the variables. At the bottom here, you can see x and y. We say that, for example, 3 is stored in the variable x. You can see the number here will be stored depending on which variable is assigned to it. Please remember that a Python variable has a name and has a value. The value is the content of the container. Basically, the variable is the box and the value is what goes inside the box, which is stored as a value. Now at the bottom here we can see that x and y do change depending on the latest variable assigned. In this case, x is assigned to value 3 and y is assigned to value 3 as well and has changed to be assigned to value 2. Now we have something called reserved words. You cannot use these below reserved words as variables. Some of the examples I can give you are and, continue, input, print. These cannot be used as the naming variables. Let's move on to PC 3.2. A variable is a named place in the memory where the programmer can store data and later retrieve the data using the variable name. Programmers can get to choose the names of the variables. You can change the content of the variable in a later statement. Here are examples of variables. An integer has been assigned to variable x. This integer is 100. A string has been assigned to variable y, as seen here. A float has been assigned to variable x. Moving on to PC 3.3, this is where we declare assigned values in Python program. As an example, the code here will print the value of variable a in the given code below. 20 is assigned to variable a, goodbye is assigned to variable b. So to print the value of variable a, you have to copy all the two given variables and just add print a as they have asked in the question. PC 3.4 reassign values created and display the latest variable values using the print function. The question here is asking us to create a code that will assign another value to the variable a given below, then later display the latest value of variable a, which is now going to be 40. In order for us to do this, we have been given the variables, but to change to the latest value of x, which is now 40, we add all the given as above, but we add in between 40 as our new variable in variable a. Then we can print out a, which will give us 40 as the output. And lastly, we have implement variables of different data types, including integers, floats, boolean, and strings. Here, for example, we have a program that will store string and a decimal value. To write this, we can say hey as our string, and as our decimal point we can have it as 4.5. So we say hey has been assigned to variable a and 4.5 has been assigned to variable b. A program that stores a boolean in variable x and a string value in variable y. As you can see here, they have given you the variables that needs to be given as boolean and string, in this case x and y. So you need to create the variable x and y. In this case, a boolean could be either true or false. Here's an example of a false one saved in variable x, and the word create has been assigned to variable y.
According to rule number 1, a variable name cannot start with a number. So for example, 911 GT as a variable name is not gonna work for you. You'll get a syntax error each and every time you try to use it. While on the other hand, S63 is a perfectly valid variable name because it simply doesn't start with a number. The second rule states that the only characters we are allowed to use when naming variables are A to Z letters, capital or lowercase, numbers from 0 to 9, and lastly, the underscore character. And that's it. So if we'll try to use any other characters as part of a variable name, such as dash, $, dot, comma, space, and so on, we'll get a syntax error once again. So the best ways to connect two words in one variable name is by using the underscore as a separator, or using camel case, which means capitalizing the first letter in each word, like so. Another important detail to keep in mind is that variable names are case sensitive. So if we want to name our variable shawarma with a capital S, and then we get so emotional about it, so we try to access it as an all capital shawarma, it will not work for us, as you can see. So the case needs to be 100% of a match to the original. The last rule of naming variables prevents you from using keywords, which Python reserved for other operations. Take a look at this list of words which Python has a special use for. At this point, we are only familiar with the print keyword, and frankly, we can also add the word type to this list, which we also recognize from before. And the reason why type doesn't officially appear on the list is that Python will allow you to use it as a variable name. However, you will encounter many errors along the way. So let's decide to place it in the exact same category as the rest of the reserved keywords, even though it's kind of an odd one.